All through today, a word has been playing again and again in my head. And that word, the more I try to find an answer to it, the more lost and confused I get. For I think it is very, very precious. It is very, very precious. And because I think it is very precious, when you look at this sentence that has been, hello everybody, greetings to you guys. When you look at this sentence and the weight that this sentence carry, I'm about to say the sentence, now we say it to you. It troubles me. It troubles me so much that I try to make sense of it. But every time I try to make sense of it, I get more confused. I get lost in the possibilities that this sentence provides. And the sentence is, before my parents were born, what is my original face? Which I'm also going to ask you, to all of you that is listening to me right now. I want you to think about it. For there's no way no matter how much you try to, push it one way or the other, you're not just able to find it. Before your parents were born, what was your original face? What was your true face before your parents were born? Well, when we really look at this world, we'll be like, but then it connects to reincarnation. But of course. But it goes too deeper than that. Because whichever way you try to bring it out, you are not able to really find the source of it. Before your parents were born, what was your original face? Your face, your original face, your true face, what was it before your parents were born? It is difficult to truly answer this question. Before your parent, if you say, before I was born, what was my original face? That is something different. But here, before your parents were born, what was your original, your true face before your parents were born? If you can find what your true face was before your parents were born, there will be a sense of peace that will come upon you, a sense of inner knowing, inner understanding that will come upon you. You see, we are much worried about what was my life before I was born. We are very much worried and concerned about that. Everybody, 95% of everybody wants to know what they were before they were born. But now here is another question that is contrast to that. And that is, before your parents were born, what was your original face before your parents were born? What was your original face? What was your true face before your parents were born? If we pick this word one by one, and we try to analyze this, because there are emphasis on the word before, emphasis on the word parent, emphasis on the word original face. Original face. Before your parents were born, what was your original face? The truth is, your original face before your parents were born was the face of your parents' parent. If you look at it that way. Before your parents were born, your face is the face of your parent's parent, which is your grandparent. Your face, your true face, was the face of your grandparent. When your parents were born, before you took birth in your parents' womb, what was your face? Your face is the face of your parent. Now, you see, this takes you outside of the impressions of reincarnation, because it's all about grounding you. About you look for answers, which is the natural tendencies of every one of us. We like to look for answers outside of what is already with us. And because we like to look for answers, outside of what is already in front of us, we complicate that which is currently in front of us. Just as many of you have children. Before your children were born, what was the face of your children? You don't know. You don't know. But the face of your children is your face. Your face. And that is the synergy of life. The synergy of life. Because in this synergy of life, it brings you to really looking at life in depth. In depth. You look at it scrutinizingly. Not just looking at it from the perception of mental imaginations. Not just looking at it from the perception of this is me, this is what. And also, it helps you to truly not be on the superficial level, but to be truly grounded. To be truly grounded. Because then it brings you to the point whereby so many people are very much interested in wanting to do what is called a past life reading. A lot of people are very much interested in wanting to, to go into their past, to want to see what they were in their past. Which it's not deniable, it is a fact. But then it keeps them stuck. It keeps people stuck in a mental hublubaloo. In the sense that they are not able to truly face reality as it is. It does not answer the questions of life, the pressing questions of life. And because it does not answer the pressing questions of life, no matter how much you try to go into the past or you do a past life regressions, it does not truly answer the past, it does not answer any true questions of your current life. It does not stop the mental ache. It does not stop the disturbance of the intelligence. It does not stop the turbulence that affect each and every one of us. Now, please, I want you guys to communicate with me so that I know it's not you guys are participating, and I want you to please listen with intelligence, not with emotion. It doesn't stop it. And hence, when this question when this question popped into my head, before my parents were born, what was my original face? It shatters the illusion of thinking that I was someone special. It shatters that illusion. Because that illusion was shattered, it makes me to see reality as it is. And until you see reality as it is, only then can you truly become peaceful in seeing reality as it is. An example is when you look at your hand. When you look at your hand, this is my hand, this is every one of you, or you have a hand. If you're listening to me, I want you to raise your hand up and just look at it. Look at your hand. Look at everything that you have in your hand. What do you see? What do you see? If you look at your hand, what do you see? You say, well, I see lines. That's what you're going to say. I see lines. What else do you see? I see lines. I see hair. That is what you're going to say. But if you really understand what I just said, which is, before your parents were born, what was your original face? Before your parents were born, what was your original face? You will come to understand that what you are looking at, which is what you call your hand, is not yours. It is borrowed. For in this hand is the hand of your parent. This hand, your hand, everything on your skin is that of your father, that of your mother, that of your grandfather, that of your grandmother. So everything that you are calling or addressing as yours is actually borrowed, because the original owner of that body lend it to you. Just as if you have children, your children lend your body from you. They borrowed your body from you. And their own children is also borrowing the body from them. So everything that you call your own is nothing but borrowed. For when you look at your hand, do you see your grandfather? When you look at your face in the mirror, that which you call your face, what do you really see? It is not your face. It is the face of your grandfather, the face of your great-grandmother, the face of your great-great-grandmother, the face of your father, your great-grandfathers, your great-grandmothers. So it's like you are a Russian roulette doll. Your body is a Russian roulette doll. A doll in a doll, 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 in a doll. And because everything that you see is that which belongs to someone in the past. Do you see that? Are you understanding my point? Everything that you are looking at, that reflection that you look at, it's what belongs to someone in the past, never yours. And because it is never yours, trying to own it makes life miserable. So before my parents were born, what was my original face? The truth is, my original face was not visible. I don't even know what my original face was. I cannot tell what my original face was before my parents were born. That which I can tell for a fact is that it is the face of their of my parents' father, the face of my parents' mother, the face of my father's father, my mother's father, my mother's father, my mother's mother. That is the face. Now, if that is the face that is there, that is the face that is here, then tell me, where are you? Which then leaves the big question: where am I? In all of this, where is the me? Please, are you understanding? Where is the me in all of this? For the cheek, the nose, the eye, that which I have grown to accept as mine, that which I have grown to accept as mine, was all that which belongs to somebody. So where is the me? The me that is claiming to own this. Where is the me? The you that is claiming to own the body. Where is the you? Where? The truth is, you were nowhere. You were not in the spirit. You were not in a dimension of a different world. You were not in a dimension that is not seen. You were nowhere. You were nowhere. Your consciousness was nowhere. Your consciousness only became present when your father, your great-grandfather, or your grandfather decided to borrow you his body. Are you understanding my point? I know this might sound a bit weird to some people. I know it may sound weird to some people, but it is worth exploring. It is worth listening to and understanding. For when you really look at it, when you truly look at it, you'll find that you are trying to claim what was never yours. You are fighting so hard to maintain what was never yours. And because you are trying to claim what was never yours, it brings dissatisfaction. It brings what? Dissatisfaction. It brings mental confusion. It brings unhappiness. And the first question you ask yourself truly is, before my parents were born, where was my face? Where was my face before my parents were born? Your face was nowhere. That which you call your face was nowhere. It was empty. Your face was in emptiness. And because the face was in emptiness, what then is the color of emptiness? What is the color of emptiness? Emptiness has no color. Can you tell me what is the color of emptiness? It has no color. And because emptiness has no color, because it has no color, we are trying to give it a color. And that which we just keep trying to give a color becomes that which then troubles us. So the ancient teachers and the ancient masters says, my dear child, my dear friend, dear student, you've never asked the real questions of life. You've never asked the real questions of life. And because you've never asked the real questions of life, you've never gotten the real answers. For you to get the right answers, you must learn to ask the right questions. For in every individual, there is a right answer. But we don't ask the right questions. And because we don't ask the right questions, it looks as if we are not getting anything. And hence, the day you truly start asking the right questions, the right answers will start manifesting and coming to you. And that is what is called awareness. Awareness becomes the day you start asking the right questions and the right answers start coming towards you. So in the search, every one of us wants to become spiritual. We want to become spiritual, which is okay. Spirituality is the natural inheritance of every one of us. Religion is crowd control. That is a fact. But think about this question again, my friends. Think about it. Ponder about this question. Before your parents were born, what was your original face? You can't say. Because it was empty. You can decide to mentally disillusion yourself and say, before my parents, you can say that before I was born, listen to that, before 95% of the time, we always say that before we were born, I was this in my past life. Isn't it? 95% of us, we say that all the time, before I was born. I was born in this country, or I was this person, I was that person, I was this person, I was that person, I was a king, I was a leader, I was a, whatever we call ourselves. But what were you before your parents were born? You can't say. Do you see the irony of our mental perception? The day you see your face before your parents were born, that day there is going to be an understanding, an inner understanding that comes upon you. Even when people want to describe what they were before they were born, they cannot really describe their face. They can describe their body. Have you truly seen your face before you were born? That there is also another irony. That there is also another point of intellectual thinking. We describe activities, but we don't describe what is the face of the person. We say the person is white, the person is black, but what is the face of the person? Before you were born, what was your original face? You can't say. Do you know why you cannot say? Do you know why you cannot say? We all know that we have lived different lives, but of course. We all know that we've experienced different lives, but of course. But we cannot really put a direct point of what the face looks like. We can't. We can easily describe the sufferings. Yes, we can. We can describe what is perceived as the happiness. Yes, we can. But we cannot describe what the face looks like. We can't. Which then tells us that there is nothing the human imagination cannot conceive. And until the day you stop wanting to live in your head, but wanting to just be present. For in your parent was your face. In your parent's parent was the face of your parent, which also carries your face. In your children is the face of their children. How many of you have been, sorry to ask, but does any of you have children here? Does any of you have children here? Before your children was born, what was the face of your children? Tell me. Can you really say, this is the face of my children before they were born? You can't, because you don't know. So you see, you cannot know what has not metamorphosed in front of you. You cannot know. You only know after the children have come out of you. Do you see that reality? Are you understanding what I'm trying to explain to you? To many of you that have grandchildren, before your grandchildren were born, what was their face? Do you know what their face was? You don't know. You cannot know because it was not yet manifested to you, which means that we only recognize that our experience is only in that which is consciously perceived. Your experience, and that is where your consciousness is. Your consciousness is not outside floating in the universe. Your consciousness is in your experience. So your experience is your consciousness. And that is why the ancient teacher says you cannot know what you've not experienced. Do you see that? Do you understand this intellectual conversation that we are having with you? So experience then is that which gives birth to life. Experience. You can feel, many of you will say, I feel the wind, how the wind blows. I feel how the wind blows. But of course, but have you touched the wind? You can't touch the wind, but you felt the wind. And that there tells you that until you learn to give gratitude to that which is past, life will always become miserable. For it is that which is past that is holding the roots of your existence. It is not that which is to come. Are you understanding me? So there are many people that are going to say that, it is God that created me and put me in my mother's womb. It is not God. God made me and put me in my mother's womb. So it is God that created me. No, this is you trying to deny and trying to cut off that which is most important. This is you truthfully trying to do what? Deny and cut off that which is most important. And hence you ask a simple question. Before your parents were born, where were you? What was your original face? No one dares to answer that, for they cannot answer it. They will give an exaggeration of, well, I was in the spirit. Which spirit were you? You were in your grandfather's body. You were in your grandmother's body. So your face is the face of your grandfather, your great-grandfather, your great-grandmother, your great-great-grandfathers, your great-great-grandmothers, and all of them continuous. And because your face is the face of these people, so also is the turbulence that affect these people. Do you understand? Just like the other day, I asked a simple question. When you look at the cloud, what do you see? Look at the cloud. When you look at it, what do you see? Well, some people say, well, I see faces. You don't see faces. I see faces. I see angels. I see deities. All of these are your own mental imagination. But truly, what do you see when you look at the cloud? And hence the ancient teacher says, the day you look at the cloud and you see the rain, you see the plant in the cloud, that day your vision have started becoming true. For the cloud is what carries the seed, is what carries the plant, is what carries the food that you eat. Can you say the rain comes from heaven without acknowledging the cloud? The rain does not fall from heaven, for there is no rain in heaven. Above the firmament, there is no rain. The rain falls because of the presence of the cloud. So the cloud is what carries the seed, is what carries the tree. It is what carries the plant. In the cloud is the plant. In the plant is the fruit. In the cloud is the rain. In the rain is the seed. In the seed is the plant. In the plant is the fruit. In you is your children. Do you see that? So you are a cloud. You are a cloud. Don't forget, a cloud does not self-create itself. It's as a result of what? Evaporation. Are you understanding my point? I hope I'm not using too much of terminology that is confusing, but I'm trying to make a point here. And that is why the ancient teacher says the way forward is the way back, and the way back is the way forward. We want to know what is the future, but that which is always the future is always in front of us, but we deny it. We deny it. For there is no way you can find yourself without coming to your parent. For even that which you call is, and now the problem then comes that due to the socializations that we start experiencing with people, we start personifying this experience. And that is why there is a verse in the Sri Ishopanishad that says, Om Punam Adat Punam Idam Punat Punam Udas. Om Punam Adat Punam Idam Punat Punam Udat Chate Punasya Punam Adaya Punam Eva Vasisyate. Om Punam Adat Punam Idam. Which means the Supreme Creator is complete and perfect. And every emanation from Him is also complete and perfect. And He, the Supreme Creator, remains the complete balance. Do you understand that? Okay, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to stop here. I want you to think about that. Thank you very much. Bye, everybody on Facebook. I'm continuing on TikTok, so we can take questions. Ciao.